Hi everybody, it's Adele from Yoga Orkney. So we're going to go through this lazy asana 75-minute gentle restorative class. So there's some flowing movements, some where we're a little more still. Things you might want are cushions of any type, as many as you can find. I just use, throughout this as well, a couple of pillows off my bed. A blanket folded up or a towel works well, and if you have a bolster, by all means you can use this. If you're lucky enough to have more than one, then you might want to use more than one as well. And we are going to be working for a small section as well at the wall. So if you have a space at your wall, clear it off. You just need the width of your own body. If you don't have a wall, then something like a bed or a sofa will do, or the seat of a chair can work as well. So we have about 60 minutes going through postures and then 15 minutes of relaxation at the end. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. So we're just going to sit in a comfortable position. If you've got something to sit on, sometimes it helps, like raising the butt up. God, that's going to annoy me if I'm not sitting in the middle. That's what I say. Try and get rid of all the tendencies for perfectionism. You just have to do it. And then here I am. I'm not sitting in the middle. So it's a practice. There we go. Almost in the middle. So if sitting cross legs doesn't work for you, sometimes one leg out to the side is good. Or here. Or you can kind of lie on your side. Absolutely fine. You probably don't want to lie on your side because we're going to be moving the arms here. So you're just going to take the right arm up and then lean it over. Take a few breaths here. The elbow does not have to be straight. And then down. Left arm reaches up. And reaching up is great. You still get a really good stretch. You may want to lean over a little bit. See how that feels. And I know that some of you are around on Thursday and we did a little bit of a shoulder session. So you can use some of those skills, shrugging up, shrugging down, rolling forward and back to find a good place for your shoulder. Right arm up, maybe over, so you just want to try and get a broad stretch down the side. And just be comfortable knowing that you don't have to place your body in any particular shape. And to the other side. Often we hear as well in yoga classes, and I've been really guilty of doing this myself as well. Just go with how it feels, but everybody feels something a little bit different. If you're a particularly flexible person, over to the right hand side, then your body sometimes doesn't feel where it should be stopping. So you just want to search for a broad sense. It can be a tightening or a pulling, or it might feel a little bit more intense. Good. Arms come down. You're just going to take the left arm, press it over to the right. So you want to try and feel something happening across your back. And again, moving the shoulders a little can help. And then around the other way, so the right arm just comes across and you can kind of reach it out a little bit if that feels okay. And just take care. Sometimes it's quite a lot for the front of the chest. Sometimes it can feel quite a lot for the middle of your back. One more time, left arm. And then just finding a nice breathing pattern for yourself as well. You don't have to breathe in and out as you move, but you do have to breathe in and out. No fainting, please. Right arm over. And then this time we might want to draw a circle, so just drop the arm down and over. Down and over. Couple more times, just really easy. You just want to kind of drop the arm so the shoulder relaxes and then over. One more. Good, and then the other side, so you just start off with a bit of a stretch. And then you just drop the arm down and over. Lovely. Down and over. Down and over. Good, releasing the arms, a little shake. And you just want to kind of push your chest forward and see if you can drop your arms down. If you have something behind you, then you can put your arms down or on the floor. But really you just want to roll the shoulders back and open through the chest. And you can sort of look up a little bit, so you don't have to look all the way at the ceiling, just slightly up the wall in front of you. And then you're just going to look down. And just see how your back feels today. How does your shoulders feel? Back of the chest. Front of the chest. And then you're just going to sit up. And you're going to extend the right leg out and keep the left leg a little bit closer to the body. So quite a good option for this is to bring, if you've got a bolster, bring it underneath the right knee. If it's a blanket, roll it up. This is where I get tangled up in all the equipment. You can roll it up, or even a towel would work. Just prop it underneath that right knee. And then again, the left one just folds in a little bit. You might want something underneath that left knee there. Just hide that behind. And then you're just going to lean slightly forward. Now if leaning forward is really uncomfortable for you, do the opposite and lean slightly back. So maybe resting or hands behind you like you did before. So options, if you're not sure, try both. Coming forwards or coming back. And then you can settle on what feels good. And I often quite like to just bring my hands behind my head. I just enjoy that stretch of the front of my body. Or you might want the opposite, arms coming forward. And just taking a few breaths. If it feels comfy for you, and seeing what stretches, what feels a little tighter. And just seeing if you can move away from any pinching sensations around joints. So think back of hips, knees, front of hips. I know from my experience of doing yoga for a few years that often you can associate these strong pinching sensations with progress and with success. But it's not necessarily the case. So if you can broaden it out, just see how it feels, how it moves, and often how reluctant we are to change the stuff that we already do. And you're just going to climb either back or forward, and you're going to lean from side to side, just one side and then the other, just nice and easy, bringing in that same stretch but with a slightly different sensation around the hips. And it really depends on your hips whether you enjoy forward folds or not. So you can have your hips tilted slightly forward, slightly back, and depending on which one of those you have, like leaning forwards would feel better for one, leaning back would feel better for the other. So it's nothing to do with progress or success, it's just anatomy. And then releasing, you're going to switch out the legs. So the left leg comes forward and you may want to prop underneath the left knee. And I would say that even if your leg goes like totally straight or to the point where the heel lifts off the floor, then this is important for you because it pulls the strain away from where the muscles join on to something more solid. If you can't get the knee down onto the floor, just pull the prop up a little bit closer to the thigh and that will close the gap, and then you'll just immediately be able to feel the muscles releasing. Right leg comes in a little bit more, and you may want to prop the right leg. By all means you can leave it without a prop, that's fine. And then again, just leaning forwards and leaning back and seeing which one you prefer. And it's not a given, by the way, that both sides are the same. So be open to the possibility that if you lean forward on one side that you may have to lean back on the other. See how it feels. And again, are you searching for that sensation? Strong stretch around a hip joint or back of a thigh. See if you can broaden it out. Sometimes you don't know though, you're like, oh, I'm not sure. Just try some things or keep moving forward and back. So it has its own meditative quality, the kind of easy movements in and out. And the brain is pretty fine-tuned to body movements, and they've found a link. It's not just your brain telling your body to move. So they've done studies in people who's kind of lost mobility in the lower limbs, and that affects the feedback from the body to the brain affects how well the brain can inform the body as well. So it's a two-way conversation. Good, and then you want to just come back to a more neutral position. So if you're forward, it's leaning back. If you were leaning back, it's probably sitting forward, and you're just going to take that little sway side to side. And if you don't want the arms over the head, you can come back to this one where the hands just come in front of the body. Side to side. And then just check in. Do you feel any more relaxed already? Remember, the answer can be no. Sometimes when you do yoga, like, the opposite thing happens. I don't know if that happens to any of you guys, but you get a little bit more frustrated sometimes. But then it usually clears later on in the day or after you've had a good snooze. Or sometimes, if we get lucky, we feel relaxed while we're here. Good, and when you're finished, swaying side to side, you're just going to come into a seated position that feels comfy for you. So maybe it's cross legs, maybe you want to sit up on something. And I'll just show you, some people like to sit up like on a bolster this way. You have your bolster. I find this only works if I've got something soft underneath my knees, but sitting like kneeling, so like kind of what hero pose would be. Normally hero pose is quite a lot for knees, so you're asking more than normal mobility in knees and ankles, but this is quite a nice option. Or sometimes if my hip's bothering me, like, I'll sit like this and it feels comfy with one knee kind of bent or cross legs. We're going to do a few breathing exercises now, so if you want to lie down, then go ahead. We're going to lie down after this anyway. I know this is hard, by the way. I was always the type of person who loved going to yoga and being told what to do and performing it really well. So suddenly when you go to a class and the teachers move around, have a little feel, see what feels right, it can be quite a scary experience where you just think, well, I'm just here, I just want to be told what to do, switch off for a little moment or two. But you'll find your own tweaks that work, and you'll be able to get them much faster once you kind of realise what the body wants, or areas of stiffness as well. So you're just going to shake out the hands. You can close the eyes or open them. You might want to open them and see what's going on for a little moment. I think we did this exercise way back in the first week. So we'll start with the left hand, and the right hand will have a job to do, and then we'll switch to the right hand and the left hand will have a job to do. So left hand, practice it now. I know it sounds really silly, but trust me. Thumb and forefinger. So you're going to breathe in, breathe out. And then you're going to switch finger. Breathe in, breathe out. And then switch, breathe in, breathe out. And then once you get to the little finger, you're going to come back through the fingers again. So for each breathe in, breathe out, the right arm lifts, breathe in, breathe out. So you would switch, breathe in, breathe out. So it's just a little focus exercise. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. So when you're ready, have a little shake. You can't really do it wrong either. If you're breathing in and breathing out, you're all good. So I'll just maybe chime to start. And then once we've done roughly the right amount of breaths, I'll chime to finish again. I'll try not to make it too loud this week. So prepare left hand, prepare right hand. Are you comfortable? Let's go. So start with a breathe in, breathe out, in your own time, switching fingers and breathing. And try not to force your breath. See if you can get that right hand to move at the same time as your lungs. Coming back through the fingers once you've reached that little finger. And just resting your hands once you reach the index finger again. And allowing your breath to relax, but take your time, couple of moments. It's really hard. I don't think I've managed to get that right arm to match up to the breath properly yet. And if you find that the breathing is a little bit not too relaxing for you, so if you have hay fever or asthma, or you've had a bit of a cold, then just do the fingers and the hands, still nice chest and back exercise. And give your arms a little shake out, and we'll do the other side. So just make sure, I like to just make sure that the hand is working. So this time you're going to do right hand, and you just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and once you reach the little finger you come back. Left hand scoops up and then down. And what that does is it gives you this lovely rotation at the shoulder, something to focus on. So get ready and we'll do the other side. Breathe in, out, just moving through the fingers. Moving back through the fingers once you reach that little finger. And resting your hands back down on your body or on the floor. When you're finished, grand. So I don't often throw in breathing exercises, but that one's got quite a lot of facets to it. So if you're not into the breathing, then there's lots of other things that you can get out of that exercise as well. When we advance through age, and I'm saying this like when we kind of reach mid-20s onwards, basically the ability of the body to like lay down new muscle is severely reduced and it gets lower over time. So where those breathing exercises come in handy is to just keep the tone in the muscles that help function, help breathe, which is great if you have chest infections or anything like that. So it's not so much that you get more air into the lungs, but it's more about the tone of the muscles being able to draw the air in and out. And the breath's really important because it acts as that pump, as well as the heart, to kind of move fluids around the body and distribute all the good things that we need for our immune system. What I'm not saying though is it's an immune booster, because it's not true, but it helps the body function well, but it's a natural function that you have already. So you can sit for this one, or you're going to lie down into reclining cobbler pose. So options, loads of options. You can have a bolster or cushions behind the back of the body and lie like this, if that feels comfy. Some of you might want to just lie all the way back and have something underneath the knees. And again, I'll just grab a couple of cushions in a minute. So you might be here. What feels good for your low back? Often lying out flat like this can just accentuate a curve in the low back, and if that doesn't feel good, then prop yourself up. My duvet's got to that stage where it's just so lumpy. It it needs a change. So if you've just got cushions, then you just prop them all the way up behind you and you're still slightly elevated. And you want the feet just to rest on the floor and the knees can point upwards. Maybe you'd like to lengthen a leg out. Again, if you have lower back problems, hip problems, just bend the knees, that's fine. Maybe it's 2 legs. And then you're just going to take your right hand up towards your heart, towards your chest, and your left hand down onto the lower belly. And I say it's the soft part of the belly, and not as an insulting way, but it's between your hip bones and your ribs. So this whole soft area of the body, you want to rest that left hand down. And then feel the muscles underneath your left hand release a little bit. And take a breath. And let the breath go when you're ready. And again, if you don't like the sensation of controlling the breath or thinking about your breath, some people find it relaxing, some people don't. Just focus on the sensation of your hands, heavily resting into the body. See if you can let your elbows just kind of relax down. And often we're holding a little bit of tension in the muscles and we don't realise. And sometimes it can help, if you have a nice clear breath through your nose, just to rest the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And see if you can allow that lower jaw, front of your neck to relax as well. How are the muscles in your face? Can you let the muscles around your eyes relax any? Just imagine a soft smile on your face and see if that changes any tension around your brows, backs of your ears. Let the fronts of the shoulders go. How does your body feel here? And occasionally thoughts pop up. We just want to see if we can observe them rather than be involved. Do you feel that the breathing is slowed or quickened or the same? How many muscles are you holding on to now? Arms, shoulders, back, hips, thighs, where are your feet resting, face. I'm just going to slowly let the hands slide off the body onto the floor. And if your legs are lengthened out, walk them in. And then just roll yourself on your side towards me. And we're going to take our kind of side line. I think we've probably had this in every week. It's quite a nice one. It's really similar to what you did at the beginning of the class. So you're either just going to bring your props like this, all the way into the body and lie onto your side. Depending on your shoulder flexibility and also how broad your shoulders are, you may want to bring a cushion kind of between your head and your shoulder so that you're resting comfortably. If you don't have a cushion, hand works. This works with a bolster as well. And just organise your hips so that you feel that they're comfortable. So my legs are pretty comfy like this, but not everybody's will be. So know that you can, we're just going to lie out here. If you have the bolster, what I like is just to prop the same as you did maybe lying, just something underneath to raise it up a little bit. Any excuse to be comfortable. Now to get comfy here, you might want to stack the hips more forward so that you're not rotating too much back. I don't know what's happened to my ability to speak English today. I'm just saying roughly the right words, not the right versions of the words. Some of you might want to lengthen out the top leg. Don't feel like that's what you want to do because it's the most advanced option. It's not. Just options. Treat them as options. I think I was more comfortable on the pillows. So choose what works for you. And then we're going to do that kind of swooping movement with your arm again. So your top arm reaches over the head and then back down. And I just like to turn the palm up and over, lift, turn the palm back down, but your shoulders might work the opposite way, so you might want to play around with where you switch the palm around. And if it feels pretty uncomfortable for your shoulder, see, you can do it with a bent elbow, and instead of thinking about the arm moving or the hand moving, just think about the elbow kind of making an arc. And when your shoulder gets tired, just bring the arm back behind the body. So the back of the hand can rest on the lower back. If that feels awful for your shoulders, hand on hip maybe, or in front. So you can wrap it round to the opposite waist. See how you feel. And it feels like we're not moving much. But we're just using the lines of fascia in the body to draw us into quite a deep stretch. So you'll probably feel this is a deep stretch. So if your hand's behind you, you're probably going to feel it over chest, front of body, maybe somewhere into the thighs. If your hand's in front of you and you wrap to the opposite chest, opposite waist, then you'll probably feel the back line of the body, maybe down into the side as well. And then you're just going to release the top arm, press it down onto the floor, and you have two options here. You can kind of leave the legs like this, if that's where they're resting now, and twist to face forward. I like to just pull everything in here. It'll depend on what's going on in the front of the chest though. If you've got quite a lot of mass on the front of the chest, then pressing props against it's usually not that comfortable. So underneath or over the top. The other option, if you don't want the twisted legs, is like a wide-legged child's pose here as well. And you see what you mean. You just want your head to be resting. You want your chest to be resting, the feet to be resting. If you don't have a prop for your head, your hands are always the best option here. And if you're in child's pose, you'll usually get a nice stretch over your back and your thighs and your shins and the tops of your feet. And if we're resting more in this kind of twisted fold position. You're still going to get a stretch, but it's more like a corkscrew kind of stretch up through the back. And just with each breath, just kind of thinking, can I let the muscles in my face relax? What are my shoulders doing? Do they need to do something else? Sometimes it helps to keep a little tension in the muscles as well. And if you're in the kind of twisted version of this, it's very much like pigeon pose. And then wherever you are, I'm just going to take your hands and press the floor away. Come up to kneeling, hands and knees, take your time. And you're just going to kneel for a little moment before you arch your back. If you're already going for the cat-cow, then it's fine. But maybe just catching a neutral spine. You can be up on fists. If you have props and you feel your wrists, then you can use the bolster or whatever, the cushions here, to kind of help the wrists out. And then you may want to arch up into a cat stretch. I always like to go side to side now when I'm taking this cat stretch, but if you want to stay still, that's fine. And then whether you kind of push forward or back here will change where you feel the stretch in the back, so you can use that to your advantage. And then just kind of gently arch in the opposite direction. So think about the chest, and the same thing we did like right at the beginning with the back bend. Rather than lifting the chin to the highest point, just slightly look like to the bottom corner of the room, just slightly in front of you. And then arching again. And I like to just do this extra little pull of my abdominal muscles. But everyone's different, see how you feel. And then just arching in the opposite direction. And again, you're not just dumping into the full flexibility of the back, just a little press back of the hips. And just be aware of when you start to feel the front of the body stretching a little. Good, and then even out the back. And then you're going to come to lying on your front. And you probably want to take something with you, so we're going to do a little cobra position. So you're lying all the way onto the front. Like I said before, I quite like the bolster underneath the armpits. For some of you it might be a little bit lower down. Some of you might not want any props at all. I'm just going to be lying here. So you can be on your forearms. Anytime I'm on my forearms, I quite like to clasp the hands and make this little triangle shape with the upper body. But feel free to explore how your back feels. Now just know that if you are propped up on something, could be a blanket here, it can put a little extra pressure on the back. Sometimes it can make it feel a little bit better. And if you want to take pressure off the neck, if you feel like you're just straining to look up and it doesn't feel so nice on the upper back, then try pulling the chin down. You could try lifting your abdominals up and away from the floor. I think that's a good strategy to kind of tell what muscles need to wake up, but I don't think it's a good strategy for every time you're doing a back bend that you have to consciously grip onto these muscles. You want to find a way that you can get them to work without you asking. And if it feels okay, you might just want to kick the left leg up. So you're just bending the leg at the knee, and the toes can point to the ceiling or the heel can point to the ceiling, or you might want to try both. You might even want a little twist at the ankle if that feels nice. And you're just going to put that left leg down and pick the right leg up. I find that to be like a super strong stretch on the thighs. Some of you might feel it a little bit more work on the back. And again, you might have the toes to point to the ceiling, heel. Maybe moving between, see what feels good. Maybe you want a little circle. See how crunchy the heel and the feet feel today. That was my evening last night, was studying foot anatomy. You see all the little bones in there. And then release. And then you might want to pick up one and then the other. And if this feels like quite a lot, sometimes what feels a bit easier, or what can do, is if you bring the feet together and allow the knees to fall out. So you're rotating more from the hips, but see how it feels. You want to avoid any excess, like feelings of pinching or prodding in the knee. And you can always go back to one leg or no legs lifted. Absolutely fine to choose that option. And then your feet come down. You're going to press your hands down onto the floor and come up through that kneeling position. And again, neutral spine, so it's between cat stretch and cow stretch, where you just feel that your hands push down, your knees push down. Now remember whether your head is facing to the right hand side or the left hand side, because we're going to switch it around after the next posture and do the side bend on the other side. Doesn't really matter if you do the same side twice, but we'll try and aim to do one side each. And then you're going to come to sitting now. So, cross legs maybe. I'm going to do this one with the feet a little bit wider forward. You can, if you enjoyed it before, prop underneath the knees or the thighs. This seems like a lot of setting up, but it is worth it. And then you're just going to either lean forwards or lean back. If you want to lean forwards and it sort of feels comfy but not quite, can't remember if we did this last week, you're going to put the bolster in front of you. I know it seems weird, but once you give it a go, you'll understand why you might want to do something that looks so crazy. And then if it feels still like too much of an arch in, a little bit closer or here, can be quite nice. And if you think, well, I don't have any kit that would work like that, then you can stack cushions. I just have 2 normal pillows from my bed, folded in half, and then all you do is you put your elbows and your hands into the head. And this is quite a deep stretch for the back of the body. And if you've got the bolster and it feels nice, you can let the hands release. Remember, you can always hug them in again if it feels like a little much at any point. And then any time that you're, like what you just did, lying on your front or in this kind of position, it just forces the muscles that help you breathe to work a little bit harder. So you just kind of get this background benefit of toning all these muscles in between the ribs. just going to come back up and you're going to lie your head over to the opposite side. So you're on your side again, but this time head in the opposite direction. It does help to face the camera, or if you're on your phone or whatever, just bring it with you. So you're going to take your cushions or your bolster and slide them right into the hip, and then lean over, and again taking your time. So we're here for a little moment or so to get comfortable. My sides are really different one to the other, so I've had some kind of injury on the right hip and they don't know what it is, so I often have to have something really different both sides. So you might want a long leg, remember, or knees bent in, closer to 90 degrees to the body. And you can always prop something between the thighs as well, something between head and shoulders. And then if it feels okay, the upper arm just comes over the head and back, over the head, and then finding where it feels good for you to switch the palm from facing down to up, from up to down, and then see how many swooshes of the arm you can do before your shoulder gets tired on this side. And when your shoulder does get tired, you might want to bring the hand, so back of the palm, try it, onto the lower back. If that feels really uncomfortable, you feel like your shoulder doesn't want to rotate enough to let the hand come on, onto the hip, or you wrap it right underneath. And then you can unwrap the arm, use both hands pressing down to bring you into the next stretch. So either you keep the legs roughly similar and twist to look down towards the bolster, or if that doesn't feel right, child's pose. And then you can kind of see where I prop here, so it's like under the shins, underneath the feet as well. You maybe have the bolster long ways or underneath the arms. Whatever feels good. Whatever feels like a nice broad stretch. I know I keep saying that over and over again, but that really is the most important part. That the stretch is nice and broad. Or you have the legs twisted and the same thing. So you can have the head on the side, lying on one of your temples, or you turn the head down if that feels more comfortable. And then again, just adjusting for your chest, for your hips. And then sometimes like hugging the equipment, there's no other way to explain it. Basically it just pulls the back into a nice stretch. And when you feel like you're ready, just bring your hands either side and press yourself gently back up to seated again. And we're going to do legs up the wall. So, if you have a wall, you can use it. If you have something that's roughly the length of your thighs, like a sofa, chair, a bed that's not super high. If the bed is a little bit higher up than mine is here, you can still hook your heels. It's kind of hard to show you, so I'll put a bolster. So if it was a little bit higher up, instead of trying to get your knees on, you would just put your feet on here. So the legs are just slightly raised. You see how ready I was with her legs up the wall, just flopping the arm down. Or if you just have the sofa, you want as much of your calf on as possible. If you're at the wall, some people may want to have a bolster or cushion to lift the hips a little bit higher. So just have them like within an arm's reach. We used to do this where you'd have to slide your butt all the way into the wall, as close as you could, and then lie onto your back. You see the problem here though, is that my shins, like it feels like I'm in this little ball shape. So you want to just make sure, without kicking a hole into the surface, that you feel, it's kind of like how you would be sitting in a chair, but a bit more comfortable because you're not having to hold the spine up against gravity. But you might want something a little higher under the hips. You might want something under the head as well. And you can lessen the tension by, if you're at the wall, walking the legs up, walking the legs down. And this posture is nice because it's kind of like constructive rest. The back muscles are relaxed, lower back muscles especially relaxed. Inner thighs are working, pelvic floor, lower abdominals are working. Now you might want to take your arms over the head. See how your shoulders feel. So it's, you can pull your hands in closer to the head. Or if the shoulders don't allow that movement, hands onto the forehead can work. If you feel pinching, stickiness in a shoulder, change the position. So you can be anywhere really from here up in, it's quite a big range of things you can be. So one might want one thing, one might want the other thing. Hands behind the back of the head can be quite nice. Not sure why I like that, just quite like that feeling of stretching the chest, maybe. And then you might want to try walking the feet close together and seeing if the knees fall out. Now if it feels like your feet are too high up the wall, slide them down. If that doesn't feel good, soles of the feet come back on. If you're using your sofa, same thing. Feet come together, knees can fall out to the side. That's a little comfier than on the wall for me. We don't often, when we're in class, get to use the wall because we just normally don't have space. Sometimes we do, it depends. And then you can stay, or you can walk your feet back on. And if you want a bit of a hip stretch, you can take your right foot, cross it over, maybe knee, maybe shin or foot. That can be quite nice, it's still a turnout. See what it feels like. And again, you do not have to stay still. You can take a little wiggle side to side. What you do with the foot here as well can make quite a lot of difference. So even just pointing and flexing. And we do not have to push the knee as far away as it will go. You might want a little press and a release. If there's crunching, snapping in the hips, don't do it. Go to another position, side to side, or a little less of an angle by dropping the foot down. And then you're just going to switch the legs so that right foot comes back onto the wall and then the left one. And that feels weird for me. My legs have been really resistant to do this big external rotation, so this outward turn, for pretty much all of lockdown, but that feels quite comfy this morning, so I don't know what's changed. And again, you might want to just like press and lift, but it's really soft, so it's by no means forcing. Or you might want to try toes, press, and sometimes it's hip, sometimes it's ankle, sometimes it's knee. And you can just bring your feet back on the wall. You might want to walk them up a little this time. So it's kind of like Shavasana, but not so much pressure on the low back. And then you might just want to start walking your feet back down if they were lifted. And we start the graceful dismount from legs up the wall. So you may want to, if you have the mobility, hug the knees in. And that will work probably whether you have your feet on the wall or on the bed. And just roll onto one side. If you don't have enough movement to bring the knees onto the chest, then you just roll onto your side. The feet will still be touching the wall. And then you just press yourself up, crawl back towards your mat or wherever it was you were practicing. And you want a little room to move from side to side this time. So you're lying on our back. And this is again quite a nice relaxing one. Good, we're on time-ish. I said it goes really slow and then all of a sudden it's like relaxation time. And you're just going to lie back. And you can hug your knees into your chest and take a little rock side to side. You might want to let go. I find I get a little bit more of a stretch and a little bit more work in the abdominals as opposed to just hauling the knees in and rolling onto the back. So see what works. Maybe it works better for you holding on. And then you're just going to let go and allow the knees to drop 1, 2 over to the right hand side. And then see if this left arm will twist to the left. Now my elbow is very relaxed here. My hand is just kind of falling out against the bed. If you want to straighten it all the way out, you can. It will be quite a big stretch though. So just check in with the shoulders, in with the chest. Maybe left arm over the head can work for you. And again, it's pretty similar to that movement we've been exploring for most of the class, that little side bend. And then you might just want to bring the left arm back in, lift the left leg up first, then the right, rolling over your back, enjoying that nice massage, bringing the left knee down, and then the right one. Now if the knees do not come all the way down, I'll just show you on this side, probably should have showed you the first time around. You can always prop them. Maybe one foot needs to stay on the floor and it's kind of like this, that's fine. And then once you've found the positioning for the lower body, maybe the right arm wants to fall out. But again, my chest, upper body is pretty flexible and this is quite a strong stretch. So you can lessen it just by bending the elbow, or you can just change the angle at the shoulder, but keep the side stretch. And then unwinding the arm, lifting up the right knee, rolling over your back, left knee comes up. It's fine, I don't know if you just spotted that there. You can shuffle the hips as well. You find a nice position for your arms. bring your arms back in a little closer to the body. One more time. Left knee lifts, and then when you feel the hips move onto the floor, the right one lifts. And then over you go. And just finding a comfortable position for the lower body. And you might want to stretch out that right arm. And we've already played a little with whether the palm faces up or down. And any movements at all, you can play around with the placement of your hands moving up or down. And then just bringing your arms back in, lift that right knee up, left knee, and your feet can come down to the floor. If you feel that something doesn't quite feel right in the back, then take a little rock side to side. This is our Asana posture in yoga. A bit of a stretch for the spine. A little bit of compression on the front of the body, particularly if you're holding the knees in. And when you're ready, your feet come down. 1, 2, and then you're just going to set yourself up here for relaxation. So it might be this, constructive rest. Maybe you would like to bring a bolster or your cushions underneath the knees. Maybe you want to go back to legs up the wall or on the bed. That's a nice option if you felt that was quite a nice relief for your back. That's me doing flips around and show you all the positions. You can also sit, lie on your side. Maybe you want to go back to the one that we did earlier on in class where you were lying on your bolster this way. You can have your hands resting, chest, body, side. See what works. Sometimes what can help is to not overthink it. If you happen to land in a comfortable position, go with it. And you absolutely do not have to have your eyes closed if it doesn't feel comfy. My eyes just close automatically, which is why they're probably always closed in these videos. I find it just maybe helps me keep the muscles in the face a little bit more relaxed. And we're just going to go through a kind of body scan this morning is the plan. So every time you hear a body part mentioned, just see if you can turn your imagination towards that part of the body, and then don't dwell too much. When you hear the next one, you just move on and on and on. And however your imagination works, it's a little bit different for everybody. Good, making sure that we're just getting comfortable. So whatever you need, props, a couple of breaths. Yeah, just getting comfortable now. And when you hear the chime of the breath, that's when I'll start waking you back up. And often a main worry is about falling asleep here. Don't worry, you'll hear the bell at the end. We're just going to start at the right hand. Right hand thumb. Fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, little finger. Back of the right hand, palm of the right hand, and the wrist. The right forearm, elbow, upper arm, and the right shoulder, armpit. The right side of your waist and your hip. The whole of the right thigh, kneecap, lower leg and the heel, top of the right foot, sole of the right foot, and your right big toe, and then the 4 toes, 1, 2, 3, 4, out to the little toe. Left hand, left thumb, the 4 fingers, first, second, third, fourth little finger, back of the left hand, palm of the left hand, and the left wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, left shoulder, armpit, left side of your waist, left hip, left thigh, the left kneecap, lower left leg, left ankle, top of the left foot, sole of the left foot, left big toe, and the 4 little toes, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just turn your attention to your head now, neck, back of your head, top of your head, forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, right eyelid, left eyelid, cheekbones, bridge of the nose, tip of your nose, top lip, bottom lip, the lower jaw, the front of the neck, and the shoulders, collarbones, tips of your shoulders, shoulder blades at the back of the body, the whole back of your body, hips, spine, chest, shoulder blades, back of the head, the whole front of the body, hips, belly, ribs, shoulders, chin, forehead, whole upper body, head, neck, shoulders, arms, chest, waist, hips, and the whole lower body, hips, thighs, knees, shins, calves, heels, feet. The whole front of the body, the whole of the back of the body, your whole body together. Just be aware of the whole body together. And the thoughts may come and go. be aware as they arise. And when they disappear again, still awareness, front of the body, back of the body, whole body, breath, thoughts. And just bring your attention back to your physical body. See if you can imagine for a second the floor, the walls, the ceiling of the room that you're in. And it can feel quite nice just to finish off with a few breaths here while we're still relaxed. Just imagine that you can breathe in through the soles of your feet. And as you draw the breath in, it slowly fills up through the body, legs, hips, torso, up through the neck, crown of the head. And then just imagine that you breathe out through your mouth and the whole body empties. Drawing the breath in through the soles of the feet, all the way up. See if you can feel your spine lengthen, head lifted, and again breathing out through the mouth. And when you feel ready, you can start to bring a bit of movement into your fingers and toes, arms and legs, maybe a slight nod of your head side to side. And you're just going to slowly draw the knees in, maybe one, maybe two. And wherever you are, you might want to take a little rock from side to side, so it still works if you're sitting as well. And I'm just going to ring the bell, and when you're ready, bring yourself up to seated. Lovely. And then we usually just finish off with a deep breath all together. See one more head popping up there. So when you're ready, maybe arms just lift over the head. You can take a look up. It's one final stretch for the front of your body. And then your hands can come down to your heart or to the floor. And looking down for one final stretch of the back of the body. And namaste. Thank you all so much.